The first stage of analytical reader has been accomplished when you apply the four rules listed at the end of the last chapter. The first stage of analytical reading is accomplished when you apply the first four rules listed in the last chapter, which together, which together will uh, which together allow you to tell what book is about and to outline its structure, which together allow you to tell what the book is about and outline the structure. You are now ready to go on to the next stage, which also comprises four rules of reading. You are now ready to go to the next level of reading, which also comprises four rules of reading. The first of these we call for short coming to terms. The first of these we call for short coming to terms. Coming to terms is usually the last step in any successful business negotiation. Coming to terms is usually the last step in any successful business negotiation. All that remains is to sign on the dotted line. All that remains is to sign on the dotted line. But in the analytical reading of a book, coming to terms is the first step beyond the outline. But in analytical reading of the book, coming to terms is the first step beyond the outline. Unless the reader comes to terms with the author, the communication of knowledge from one to other does not take place. Unless reader comes to term with the author, the communication between the reader and the author does not happen. Rather, the communication of knowledge from one to other person does not happen. For a term is a basic element of communicable knowledge. For a term is the basic element of communicable knowledge. Sorry, what does it mean? So if I open chat, for a term is the basic element. The coming to the term is a basic element of communicable knowledge. Words versus terms. A term, of course, I don't have to look at the chat GPT. Everything is in the next paragraph. Words versus terms. A term is not a word, at least not just a word without further qualifications. A term is not a word, at least is not a word without further qualification. If a term and word were exactly the same, you would only have to find the important words in a book in order to come to terms with it. If a term and words were exactly same, were exactly the same, you'd only have to find the important words in book in order to come to terms with it. But a word can have many meanings, especially an important word. But a word can have many meanings, especially an important one. But a word, if the author uses a word in one meaning and the reader reads it in another, Words words have passed between them, but they have not come to terms. If author uses word in one meaning and reader reads in another meaning, words have passed between them, but they have not come to terms. Where there where there is there dictionary. I think there there
there,
there there where there there is unresolved ambiguity in communication, there is no communication. Where there where there is ambiguity in communication, there is no ambiguity in communication, there is no communication, or at best communication must be incomplete, or at best communication must be incomplete. Where there is no communication, when there is ambiguity in where there is ambiguity in communication, there is no communication, or at best the communication is not complete, is incomplete. It's the same word, so it's known as. Just look at the word, just look at the word communication for a moment. Its root is related to the word common. Just look at the word communication. Its word communication for a moment. Just look at the word communication for a moment. Its root is related to the word common. Its root is related to the common communication. We spoke of community as a group of people who have something in common. We speak of community as a group of people who have something in common. Communication is an effort on the part of one person to share something with another person. Communication is an effort on the part of one person to share, effort on part of one person to share something with another person, or with an animal or a machine. His knowledge, his decision, his sentiments. His knowledge, his decision, his sentiments. It succeeds only when it results in common something, such as an item of information or knowledge that two parties share. If there is there, then share is share.
share,
Share, share, share, share, share, share. So, communication is an effort on the part of one person, on the part of one person sharing knowledge with, sharing something with another person. His knowledge, his sentiment, his knowledge, his decision, his sentiment. It succeeds only when it results in a common something. It succeeds. So, what is communication? Communication is sharing something with another person. That can be knowledge, his decision, or sentiment. Similarly, the communication is successful only when something in common, when it results in something in common, such as item of information, knowledge that two parties share. When there is ambiguity in the communication of knowledge, all that is common are the words that one person speaks or writes and another hears or reads. When there is a ambiguity in the communication of knowledge, all that is common are the words that one person or writer common are the words that one person speaks or writer writes and another person hears or reads.